ran well, church kid. What happened? No, you really ran well. Who hindered you? What happened that made you feel like you were out there all by yourself? You did good. You remember your grandmother used to tell you, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want? Go back to that. What happened? I know. You went to school and you got around other folks who weren't church kids, and all that stuff started just kind of getting tangled together. No, it did, because it did it for me. Then by the time you got to high school, you weren't trying to hear no Lord change me, oh God. You was in school with your peers. You was starting to be that pretty girl. You was starting being that handsome guy. You was starting to have friends outside of being church kid. And let me tell y'all something. Y'all were like me. By the time you got to college, oh, it was on. I wasn't trying to hear none of that, because by that time, I was ready to have sex. Because guess what? Because that's what my friends was talking about. That's what my friends wanted to do. Y'all, this is your girl, author Monica I am back. How y'all doing? I feel like I've been gone forever. But I've been resting, y'all, these 2.5 years. But thank you, Leandria. You've been on me for almost a year and a half. Thank you, Tanisha, Japal, Mika, Mom, Dad. It's so many of y'all. I don't want to get myself in trouble saying names, but everybody, Eunice, all of you guys who used to follow me previously, thank y'all. I am back. But guess what? This time, we're going in, y'all. This is Monica Mentors. I'm back, y'all. All right, look, y'all know now. Y'all know I work all day. Y'all know I be tired. So we just gonna jump right on up into this. We finna get in here and we finna get into this and get to going. But check this out, y'all. Before we get to going, did y'all know that I just read today with the Department of Washington Education that by the age of 10 years old, girls are now starting to have sexual feelings. It was about the same for boys. But when you think about that, 10 years old, and some of y'all still ain't talking to y'all kids about sex. Some of y'all didn't talk about it and they 40 and 50 years old. Had to figure it out by themselves. Church kid. We learned the Lord is my shepherd. We learned to do it in the others as we have them doing it us. We didn't learn about sex in church. We learned about marital values. We didn't talk about sex. Sex was that conversation that church kids don't talk about. But guess what? They're doing it. We did it. They're still doing it. And so what I want to talk about in this first show, y'all, we got to figure out how to come to terms with the fact that we got to talk to these kids about sex, y'all. There's no way to get around it. You got to do it, y'all. And so what we're going to do is, y'all, I made some notes for the night. So the title of this show is called Who Raised You? We're going to talk about this broken bridge called love. Now, listen, I am mindful, y'all, my grandparents. Listen, boomers, it's a tough one for y'all, because in y'all generation, even though y'all had stuff going on, it was a different mindset. You guys, marriage was the go-to thing for the boomers. Get married, have your children, get your house. And I know it was some crazy stuff going on, but it wasn't as loud as it was when it got to my generation. And so boomers, that's a little bit too much for y'all. Y'all like, this too much. We need to stop this. We need to talk about something else. But guess what, y'all? We got to figure out how we got to talk about this communication. Miscommunication is what I want to call it. We got to talk about it. And so for the boomers, from a Gen X point of view, we need you to talk about it. You got to learn from us. You got to teach us. There are so many kids that I know. I did it. I would talk to my grandparents before I would talk to my mom. There were just some things I wasn't comfortable talking to my mom about. And so, boomers, you got to get to a space, books are out there. If you have to talk to somebody in the church. Let some leaders know, I don't know how to talk to these kids about sex. But boomers, not talking about it is no longer an option. But then I got to help you out though. You can't just go to them talking about them only about marriage. Their mindsets right now, you have to be versatile in that conversation, boomers, because you might lose them. They might need to come talk to you and tell you they attract. Girl might need to tell you she attracted to a girl. Your grandson might come tell you he attracted to a boy. You got to be ready to talk about that, even if it makes you uncomfortable. But now, wait, boomers, hold on. We can't judge them though, because when you judge them, you lose them. The number one thing I hear everybody talking about nowadays is that the young people don't want to come to church. They don't, because they don't think we want to talk about what they need to talk about. Not what they want. They know the Lord. You've taught them that. You've instilled that in them. But they want to talk about sex. They want to talk about sexual urges. They want to talk about different relationships and how to function other than in marriage. Boomers, you can help facilitate that conversation. That's some food for thought. We got to kill that miscommunication, y'all. All of them ain't gonna want to get married. Just saying. And then boomers, y'all gotta help us understand how to date. All us ain't dating to get married. But you need to help us understand that. Teach us about traditional marital values. Talk to us about dating. But you gotta talk to the church kids about sex, y'all. It ain't going nowhere, boomers. Sorry, grandma. Sorry, granddaddy. It ain't going nowhere. And then millennials, we gotta we need to uncover those hidden generational love issues. See, my problem was I liked sex. I just was doing it in secret. I ain't want nobody to know. Until I got in an abusive relationship. And I ain't know how to tell nobody to let them know. Because I couldn't figure out how I got in the situation in the first place. I feel like a lot of millennials have been through that. You know, we were that generation where we didn't want to talk to our folks anymore. We wanted to be who we wanted to be. We wanted to say what we wanted to say. We wanted to do what we wanted to do. And y'all, that got a lot of us in a lot of trouble. Some of us might have got pregnant too soon. Some of us might have been more sexual partners. A lot of us were fooling around with married people. However we could get good sex, we did it. So millennials, y'all got to figure out how we going to talk about this thing. And y'all got to be willing. Y'all got to share some of them secret things that y'all don't want nobody to know about. You got to uncover those hidden generational love issues. For some of y'all, that's going to be how you're going to be able to talk to the kids. Because if you pay attention, you're going to start seeing some changes. The one thing I remember the old folks used to say, you can tell just as good when a kid having sex because they started to smell themselves. You're going to start noticing something a little different when you pay attention. Guess what? Your church kids having sex, y'all. A lot of y'all don't want to hear that. Your church kids having sex. This is the one that's a little hard. I think it's going to be a little harder for us to deal with, y'all. Technology is playing a role in bridging the gap in this love game. Gen Z and this alpha, they all about technology, y'all. Their dating is online. Their whole being, it seems like, is technologically based. What they do, what they eat, who they go out with, who they socialize with. Porn. Oh. I know some of y'all, that was a cuss word. Guess what? Porn is real. Just FYI. Maybe porn is so real because people don't talk about sex. But we'll cover that on another show. But you got to figure out how to talk to this generation from a technological standpoint. Help them understand why sometimes it may be not so safe to meet up with somebody online. Help them understand some things to look for and to identify. So if they do choose to meet someone that they meet online or meet through text or meet through email, help them to understand some safety triggers, because the real reality is that's their world. That's what they're used to. That's what they know. And so talk to them and help them to understand some things that they need to look for. One of the things that makes me so nervous for this particular generation is that they call people friend too fast. They call people boyfriend, girlfriend too fast. You know, they're in the cycle of where they're dating more than one person and calling all of them boyfriend and girlfriend and seeing all of them at the same time. I know y'all remember that story of the young lady. I think she went with her friends and she thought they were friends, and that girl ended up losing her life. They went inside of an Airbnb. That's happening more than you guys realize. And so one of the main reasons I wanted to start mentoring, especially our church kids, about sex and sexual urges and sexual intimacy and hormones and all the different levels that we experience, especially as females, is because, y'all, there are some real dangers out there. Now, I'm not saying all of these conversations are going to keep your kids from having sex. And I'm also not even saying every child is having sex. Let me be clear. But what I am saying is that to bridge the generational gap, we got to start having the conversation, y'all, even if it's uncomfortable. Listen, if you're not comfortable having the conversation with your son or with your daughter, then hire a mentor. When we were younger, we had some mentors, Mike, who used to, be there for all the young people. When we couldn't talk to our parents, we could go talk to Uncle, well, we called him Uncle Mike. Y'all know back in the day, we called everybody Uncle and Auntie, even if they were related. But we had someone to talk to. But now, however, just like I tell my niece and nephews, and Uncle Mike used to tell us, now you can talk to me, but know if it's something that's detrimental or something I need to let your parents know now, I'm going to do it. Y'all, we need to get some uncles and some aunties again, and we have got to open up the conversation on this particular issue. Don't judge. Do not judge, y'all. I cannot stress enough. If they come to you, listen to them. Remember, we learned back in the day, 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Hear them out. If you can't figure out what to say, do what I love to say in the workplace. Okay, I don't have an answer now. Let me come back to you later. Because what you can do is, if you don't do that, you'll end up saying some things that can make the situation to where they'll never come talk to you again. You definitely don't want that to happen. And I can't talk to everybody's child, y'all. I'm tired. I know I don't have kids. Well, not biological kids, but I got 1,000 million kids, okay? I can't talk to everybody. But here's the thing. I want to be there for them because it's something that I didn't know how to ask for. I didn't know how to lean into that and ask my parents. I didn't know how to lean in and ask my aunts and my uncles. And so when I got older and I was able to get in a place again spiritually, when I can say, God, you know what? I didn't have this, but can you use me to help other children? Y'all say the kids not coming back to church. They'll come back if you listen to them. They'll come back if you talk to them. And they'll also come back if you assume that they don't want to talk to you, because they do. Y'all, before they were formed in your womb, mama, God already knew them. And he told you he was going to create them to be a prophet to the nation. But that same Bible that we read also told us, train them up in the way they should go. And when they are old, they won't depart from it. So it may look crazy when you first start talking to them, just like it probably looked crazy to my parents when we first were trying to talk about it. But as I got older, I'm sitting here now. I'm sitting in this space as Monica mentors. And guess what? We're going to learn together how to bridge this gap so that y'all can start talking to these babies, to your young people. And some of y'all old folk going to get healed from some of these conversations too, church folks. Church folks, be open. Church folks, don't judge. Church folks, go back to that same Bible. Sex might have been yours, but I bet you did something. You didn't do it, you thought it. Be open, be wise. Let's do this thing, y'all. Let's save our families. Y'all, our families, we're losing our families because we can't figure out how to deal with certain uncomfortable conversations. We're losing our young people in the church because we won't talk about what they need to talk about. It's tight, but it's right. Until next time, y'all, take this food for thought, marinate on it, pray about it. Let the Lord use you. I'm going to let him use me because y'all know, whoo, Y'all know I can get started and I go on a tangent, but the most important part is let's learn from each other. I mentor you, you mentor me. We figure out how to mentor these kids. And guess what? Y'all will start having real families again. All right, y'all, this is your girl, author Monica Martin Fletcher with Monica Mentors. I'm so excited. You know, y'all can find me everywhere on social media. You can find me on Facebook, author Monica Martin Fletcher. You can find me on Instagram, monicajmfletcher. Y'all know where to find me. I'm all over. Go on that website, monicamartinfletcher.com. All right, y'all. I'm back. Okay, I just had to get that in. All right, church kid. I'll talk to you later.